Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today I'm going to be going over my picks for the top 10 Grotti vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. Grotti is one of the best manufacturers in the entire game in my opinion, and they do make some pretty phenomenal vehicles. And in today's list I'm going to be breaking down the 10 that are the best. So anyways, let's go ahead and hop into it, starting off with number 10. Now at number 10 we have the Grotti Italy GTO Stinger TT, coming in at $2,380,000. Now this is actually the car with the highest top speed in Grand Theft Auto Online on current gen consoles, not on PC, not on Xbox One or PlayStation 4. This is only with HSW, but with HSW on this car it tops out at 172 miles per hour. So easily the highest top speed in the game for any land vehicle. It's crazy fast. Now it does also have a decent top speed on last gen and PC, topping out at about 132 miles per hour, which is still not bad. Now it does have some pretty okay customization and the straight line performance is good. Now unfortunately the handling is a little bit of a different story. It is not the best handling car ever. It feels very heavy and the oversteer is extremely bad. Also, the launch is not very good on this car. It wheel spins for about 3 days and then finally grips up and starts going. The reason that I put it at number 10 is because what is the point in being able to go so fast if it can't go around a corner like at all? So it's at number 10. I also don't think it's the best looking car necessarily. Like it looks good from some angles, but from others it's like kind of ugly low-key, but overall it is a decent vehicle for sure. It definitely deserves a spot on the list. I just couldn't put it any higher than number 10 personally. I'm sure a lot of you are going to disagree with that, but anyways, let's go ahead and move on to number 9. Next up we have the Grotti Turismo Classic, coming in at $705,000, which is kind of a bargain considering that the Turismo Classic is the fastest sports classic vehicle in the entire game for racing. And also on the expanded and enhanced edition of GTA Online, it also has an HSW upgrade, meaning that it's even faster and it maintains its lead as the best sports classic car in the entire game. It's got some really good customization. The performance in general is very good. It's quite quick in a straight line. The handling is very good as well. It does tend to have a bit of an oversteer understeer thing where it will oversteer but then it will also understeer. It's kind of strange to drive, but overall it is a very decent car. It is fun to drive, and if you learn the car, similar to most cars, you will definitely get better at driving it. The Turismo Classic is based off of a Ferrari F40, which is obviously a phenomenal car in real life, so it definitely deserved a spot on the list. I put it at number 9. Let's go ahead and move on to number 8. Next up we have the Grotti Turismo R, coming in at $500,000. This car is a staple of early Grand Theft Auto Online. In fact, it was the first car to ever be added into Grand Theft Auto Online, which was pretty cool. And it's now owned by everybody who has the Criminal Enterprises starter pack, because you get it for free. So there you go. The Turismo is actually quite a popular car nowadays in online for people who have that for sure. And at one time this was the best performing vehicle in the entire game. Now ROCKSTAR also added some additional customization to this car with the release of the Criminal Enterprises DLC last summer. So it's actually got some pretty cool options. You can make it look a little bit like a Ferrari FXXK now, which is pretty cool I think. All the customization options that they added were actually really good. You should definitely look into getting a Grotti Turismo R if you haven't got one already. It is actually a pretty cool vehicle. Next up at number 7 we have the Grotti Cheetah, coming in at $650,000. Unfortunately, this is a removed vehicle from the game. They've taken this out with the release of the Los Santos Mercenaries DLC. Awesome choice. In my opinion, the Cheetah is one of the most unique and intriguing Grotti vehicles in the entire game. And for $650K, I don't really think you can go wrong with it. I would like to see ROCKSTAR add some additional customization to the Cheetah. It does have some pretty unique spoiler options, but other than that, it doesn't really have much in the way of customization. Very cool car, definitely one of my favorite Grotti vehicles in the entire game. Definitely one to look out for if it ever gets added back to Simeon's dealership or the Luxury Autos or anything like that. Stay tuned for the Grotti Cheetah, it is actually a very cool car. Next up at number 6 we have the Grotti DShK GTS, coming in at $610,000. This thing is primarily based off of the Ferrari FF in real life, and the Bestia GTS is one of only a handful of shooting breaks in Grand Theft Auto Online. I think it might be like 2 or 3 in the entire game. This thing has some pretty nice customization though, and a very unique shape. You never see cars like this in GTA, and I think it's pretty cool. It's all-wheel drive, so it gets a very good launch. The acceleration is generally pretty good as well. Top speed, a little on the weaker side, but I do think it is a very unique car. It's definitely one that's very fun to cruise around in free mode in. Definitely look into getting yourself a Grotti Bestia GTS. You never see anyone driving these. Honestly, I don't really understand it. It's a very good looking car. Very fun to drive. What's not to like? At number 5, we have the Grotti Furia, coming in at $2,055,000 if you have the trade price. But if you don't, it's going to run you $2,740,000, which is kind of on the expensive end of things. However, it does have some pretty good performance. The Furia is one of the best recent modern Grotti supercars in Grand Theft Auto Online. It's got all-wheel drive. Obviously, the launch is going to be very good because of that. The acceleration and handling are also quite nice, and surprisingly, the top speed is also very high. This thing was actually outpacing a Pegassi Ignis when I was chasing it, and it was being driven by NPC, which is pretty cool. It's got some nice customization. Overall, there's nothing to really dislike about the Furia. I think it is actually one of the best looking Grotti vehicles in the entire game. Next up at number 4, we have an absolute classic. It is the Grotti Carbonizaire, and it comes in at $195,000. Now, hopefully you guys were able to pick this thing up last week when it was available at Simeon's dealership, because unfortunately it is a removed vehicle now, which is terribly sad. It is one of the best convertible cars in the entire game, and the hardtop on it actually looks really, really good, which is rare for a convertible. It's got decent performance. The handling is a little bit shoddy, but it could be worse, that's for sure. It actually handles pretty decently, I feel like, if you kind of pay attention to what you're doing, but you can also do donuts in this car extremely easily. It doesn't have much in the way of customization, but overall it is a very good car, and it is definitely one that I would recommend looking into the next time it's added into the game. Like I said, hopefully you guys got it last week when it was in the game at Simeon's, but if you didn't, stay tuned, it's going to be coming back one day. At number 3, we have the Grotti Italia RSX, the most expensive sports car in the entire game, coming in at $2,598,750, and that's with the trade price. If you don't know the trade price, it's going to be $3,465,000, making it easily the most expensive sports car in all of Grand Theft Auto Online, but in my opinion, it's also the best looking sports car in the entire game. It's got some really great customization, and it's super fast in a straight line. It has a very high top speed of about 132 miles an hour, which is pretty good. However, it does have one glaring issue, and that is the fact that this car does not have any sort of downforce. It has 0 downforce, so when you're cornering, it kind of sucks a little bit. Luckily, it is all-wheel drive, so that does kind of help a little bit, but no downforce is kind of a recipe for disaster in GTA. Still a good car, just kind of overpriced for not having any downforce. That kind of really sucks, but anyways, let's go ahead and talk about number 2. At number 2, we have the Grotti Vigilante, coming in at $3,750,000. This is the only weaponized Grotti vehicle in the entire game. It has a rocket booster that propels the vehicle extremely fast, actually making it one of the fastest vehicles in the entire game if you could race it, which is interesting. The missiles also have some super aggressive tracking on them, meaning that it's pretty good for taking out oppressors and things like that. The machine guns are also decent. The only glaring issue is that it has absolutely no explosive resistance. It will die instantly to explosives. So that does really, really suck, especially at its price point. You would hope it could take maybe 1 or 2. That'd be awesome, but unfortunately that is not the case. Grotti Vigilante, it may surprise you that this thing is a Grotti vehicle, but it is in fact. It's very cool. You should look into getting one. Very neat vehicle. And of course, at number 1, the number 1 Grotti vehicle in the entire game is the Grotti Italia GTO, coming in at $1,962,500, and this is the fastest sports car for racing in all of Grand Theft Auto Online. In fact, it's so fast that it even outpaces HSW sports cars on Grand Theft Auto Online Expanded and Enhanced. It will outpace a Karen S95 on most stunt racing tracks in this game, with the exception of ones that are almost exclusively straightaways. But this car is super fast. It gains a huge speed benefit from curb boosting, so going up over top of curbs over and over and over again. For some reason, the suspension on it is broken and just propels the car forward extremely fast. It's really, really quick. It's also got some great customization, and I think it's pretty much a perfect car in my opinion. The Italia GTO is certainly my favorite Grotti vehicle in the game. It is the fastest sports car in the game, so I don't see how it is not the #1 Grotti vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online. Anyway guys, there you have it. Those are my picks for the top 10 Grotti vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. If you guys enjoyed this video, a like is of course appreciated, if not dislike. Comment down below, let me know if there's anything you would change about my order, or if there's any vehicles that you would add to the list, and what vehicles would you remove. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.